Today we are looking at adding and subtracting rational expressions. In order to do this, we need a common denominator. Here we have two denominators, 4x and 10x, and what we need to do is find a number which both 4x and 10x go into. We call this the least common multiple, and in this case our least common multiple is 20x. So our goal is to make both these denominators 20x so that we can add the two fractions together. In order to do that, I'm going to multiply the first fraction by 5 over 5, because 5 times 4 is 20. So we get 5 over 4x times 5 over 5. And we're going to add that to 1 over 10x. And in order to multiply, in order to get 10x to become 20x, we need to multiply by 2. So we multiply by 2 over 2. And when we do that, we get 25 over 20x. And we get 2 over 20x, because of course we're multiplying by the 2. Now we have the common denominator. We can write the whole thing over that denominator. 25 plus 2 is 27, and that, my friends, is our answer. Next up, it's going to be a little more complicated because I'm not just going to multiply things out. I am also going to look at what these denominators are. In order to do that, I'm going to factor this denominator. It's going to become 4 times k plus 2. And here I have a k plus 2, which I can't simplify any further. Notice that the only difference between the two denominators is this 4, so I'm going to say that my least common multiple is 4 times k plus 2. If this is the case, I don't need to modify this first fraction at all. I can leave it as 7 over 4 times k plus 2. The second one, I have to multiply by 4 to get the denominator to look like the least common multiple. So I'm going to get k over k plus 2 and multiply that by 4 over 4. I do that, we get 7 over 4 times k plus 2 minus 4k over 4 times k plus 2. And then, since we have our common denominator, we get 4 times k plus 2 in the denominator. And we subtract the numerator since it's subtraction. 7 minus 4k. There's our answer. This is our final answer because we can't simplify it any further. This one's going to take a little bit more work. There's no common factors between the denominators, so our least common denominator, or least common multiple, whichever you want to call it, is m plus 4 times m minus 3. So in order to get that as our denominator for both these fractions, the first fraction I'm going to multiply by m minus 3 over m minus 3. So we get m minus 5 over m plus 4 times m minus 3 over m minus 3. And that's going to be added to 5 over m minus 3. And this time we don't have the m plus 4 in the denominator, so that's what we're going to have to multiply by. M plus 4 over m plus 4. So when we multiply this out, we get m squared minus 8m plus 15 in the numerator. And we get m plus 4 times m minus 3 in the denominator. The reason I actually multiplied out the numerator is because we're going to have something over here that we can combine like terms with, and maybe once we've combined like terms it could be factorable, so let's see what happens. I'm going to do the same on this side. I'm going to multiply and distribute the 5 to the m plus 4 and get 5m plus 20. The denominator is already factored anyway, so that's why we're leaving it as is. M plus 4 times m minus 3. Now we're going to combine like terms. We get m squared minus 3m plus 35 over m plus 4 times m minus 3. So we look at 35 and we've got to say, okay, since it's a positive 35, both our factors are going to be negative since we're trying to add to negative 3. The smallest I can think of factors of 35 would be, so we go 7 and 5. Negative 7 plus negative 5 is nowhere near negative 3. So this isn't factorable. So that just becomes our final answer. And we leave it as is like that.